What's going on, everybody? Shadow Trucker. Today's July 14th, 2021, and it is 21:44 right now. I'm over in Kingdom City, Missouri, at the gas station right beside the Petro, just so I could relax for the night, eat some Denny's, get some sleep before I take this load to deliver tomorrow. So this video is going to go over the Sonoco account a little bit. I've had a few of you guys ask me some questions about it. So yeah, we'll go ahead and cover some of that information. Before we do that, if you guys could, please go ahead and hit the thumbs up or thumbs down button. If you like the content, give it a thumbs up. If you don't, give it a thumbs down. It's not for me, it's for the algorithm for YouTube. Apparently, whenever you guys give it a thumbs up, it's recommended for other people to watch. If they've watched like another trucking video or something, this will come up as a recommended video to watch. The more thumbs up it gets. And definitely, I mean, there's a crap ton of views, way more views than I thought these videos would ever get, so I'm pretty happy about that. Thanks for you guys subscribing too. Didn't expect any of that either. This is just something I did just for people to get information out of it, so I appreciate it. Actually, go ahead and show you guys this too real quick. So the other video I did, told you guys I was getting a microwave and food stuff, so finally did get the microwave. It's a 900 watt, they fit in there perfectly, and it does not drain the batteries. Well, I mean, I usually run the truck whenever I use it. And then told you guys I was going to change over for the clothes, you know, pants, shorts, sleeping wear, underwears, and socks, and all that stuff. Perfect. I got that from Walmart. It was like 20 bucks. The microwave, I want to say it was like $90 over at Lowe's. All right, so let's get into it. So, as I said in one of the previous videos, for the Sonoco account with Landair, we run everything that we run is east of I-35, with the exception of the other portion of Kansas and the state of Utah. We'll run both of those. So for those of you that don't know, I-35 starts right up here in Minnesota, and it runs down and comes across this other side right here. Where'd it go? Right there in Oklahoma. That's the toll road portion. And then from there it just kind of runs down pretty much through the middle of Texas. You know, right there. There we go. Now, this morning was the first time I've ever been to Kansas for this account. And it was northwest of I-35. I was over in Hutchinson, Kansas, to pick up a load. And then I was down in Oklahoma yesterday. So that was just east of I-35, just barely east. I was over there in Tulsa. So if you get hired on to this account as a local driver, which you can do, then you'll know where you're running. You'll pretty much know all the facilities you're going to go to. Because one of our drivers right now that I came through orientation with, he was hired on as an OTR driver like I am, 2 weeks out at a time, or I'm mostly out 1 week at a time. It's weird. But yeah, he was hired on as an OTR driver, but they switched him to local like immediately. He didn't do OTR. He hasn't done anything OTR. He runs within a 300-mile radius of the Sonoco facility that he runs out of, and that facility is only like 5 minutes from his house. So he's home every single day. So you can get a dedicated lane, essentially, or like dedicated lanes, a couple of them around that facility. If you're an OTR driver like I am, where you're supposed to be out for up to 2 weeks at a time, then you're not really going to have dedicated lanes. Is there a possibility? Absolutely. But it's not really common. There are lanes that you will have that you will frequent more often than others. Like for me, I go to Morganfield, Kentucky, Newport, Tennessee, and Memphis, Tennessee quite often. But the rest of them, for the rest of that time, you're going to go wherever they send you. And it's not always a Sonoco facility. So you are on a dedicated account if you come to the Sonoco side. With that being said, you are not always, look, if you deliver to one of the Sonoco facilities, you're not always going to get loaded at that same facility to take another load out. They'll send you to a different Sonoco facility, within about 100, 150 miles of there generally, and you'll get loaded there and then take it to another Sonoco facility. Now, if there is not anything at any of those Sonoco facilities close to you to get loaded with, that's when they broker you a load. Now, I think they have a contract with some recycling, I don't know what it's actually called, it's just recycling centers. And whenever they give you the dispatch, it'll say, whatever recycling. So you can pick up at those. Anytime you get a recycling place, you're getting scrap cardboard. It's compressed into these huge square bales that are thousands of pounds. And you'll take those and you'll deliver them to a Sonoco facility so that they can turn them into those giant ass rolls of paper, which is what we usually haul. And then if you're rolling them or hauling them rolls of paper, you're generally in excess of 40,000 pounds. The same thing with the scrap cardboard, you're also going to be in excess of 40,000 pounds. Now, when I say giant rolls of paper, I mean giant as in they're huge around. Not all of them are tall. Some of them you'll get, and they're the ones that are almost the height of your trailer. And then other times you'll get the ones that are, half bales, or half height of those bales, the short guys. But yeah, they're always in excess of 40,000 pounds if you get either one of those. Right now I have the small bales, and they're 43,000 and some change, give or take. So if they don't have either one of those, then you'll get a different broker load, and that can be whatever the hell they find for you. That doesn't mean it's something bad, it just means literally whatever they can find. I haven't really hauled anything outside of the cardboard and paper except for some plastic stuff at one point. I can't remember what the heck it was. And then I hauled some food product. It was for Yoplait or Keurig, one of the two. It just came out of the facility, but they did both of them. And it was like this powdered stuff to make something, and you'll just take that and deliver wherever it's supposed to go. Usually once you do that, it's just a one-time broker thing, and then you go to a Sonoco facility near there that needs something picked up. That's why they'll do that. So you're not just running hundreds of miles empty and they're just losing money in fuel, because it's not cheap. We do have 100-gallon tanks on these trucks. I don't know if all of them do, but I'm pretty sure just about all of them do, except for their old ones maybe. But this one has two 100-gallon tanks on it, so it gets pretty expensive. Now with these Sonoco loads, one of the other questions that I got from Alina is if they're drop and hook. When I got hired on, originally I was doing quite a bit of drop and hook. Now, not so much. Now I'm doing a lot of live loads, live unloads, which is kind of a nuisance at some of the facilities because some of them just take forever. They're just slow. A lot of the times though, I'm usually in and out about an hour and a half time frame. There is one facility, both facilities down in Memphis. If you go to either one of them, you're screwed. You're sitting there for a minimum of 2 hours generally. And there's another facility that I went to about, I want to say it was last week, and I can't remember where it was, but I was there for about 3.5 hours. And it was terrible. When I went to deliver, even the guy there, he asked me, he was like, is that facility really that bad where you got loaded over there in Illinois? And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, time? And he was like, yeah, he's like, every guy that comes here that delivers that picked up there, he said, they're all say they're there for like 3 hours. That's a bad facility. It's terrible to go there too. So yeah. Now they do give you a lot of time to deliver. They will tell you that in orientation. Not everybody's gonna tell you. That's one of the trainers. If you go to the facility down there by Nashville in Laverne, one of the instructors will tell you that they give you a lot of time to make your deliveries. So don't worry about your time. And that's not a joke. I mean, there are times where they will plan you back to back to back. And if that becomes too much for you, just call them and let them know, like, hey, I can't keep doing this. It's stressing me out. They'll ease it up a little bit. But for some of them, they are quite a bit of time. The load that I delivered on Monday, I brought home with me over the weekend. Delivered it up in Ohio, picked up another load in Tiffin, Ohio, a little north. And I brought that's the one that I delivered to Oklahoma yesterday. When they had me pick that load up, they had it scheduled to deliver on the 15th, which is tomorrow. They gave me 3 days to deliver this load. It's only 700 and something miles away. So when I got it, I looked at it and I was a little confused, and I was like, this doesn't make sense and this can't be right. Well, it was right. So what you are allowed to do is you as the driver are permitted to call the receiver. Excuse me. Can't stop burping today. I know some companies you drive for, you're not allowed to call the receiver. You have to call your company. Company calls the receiver. The receiver notifies them, and then the company. Good God, the company will call you back and let you know what they say if you can deliver early or not. You don't got to deal with all that bullshit here. You go get the phone number off your dispatch, call the receiver yourself. Hey, can I deliver this load early if I get there? That's what I did. Called them and I was like, can I deliver this load? And they were like, well, when are you going to be here? And I was like, I can be there tomorrow, Tuesday, by between about 3. I think I told them about 3 p.m. And I got there like right at 3. But then I was like at the building right next door because that's where the address is registering at. It's really weird. You look at it on a map, you look at it on the Google Images, anything, it's like registered there. So I just pulled in. But in order to get to the facility next door, you have to leave, go all the way out, and come back around. So it took a minute. So I was in there at 3:30, backed into the dock at 3:30. They unloaded that truck yesterday. Now, when I told the company that I did this, they had already pre-planned me. They were like, okay, well, we're going to knock a day off. We're going to say you're going to deliver on the 14th, just in case. And we're going to pre-plan you on a load on the 14th. So I delivered it yesterday at 3:30, went and parked somewhere for the night. I drove like 2 hours, so halfway to this pickup. Woke up this morning, drove into Kansas, picked up this load. Now, this load that I'm on is slated to deliver on the 16th. It's a 13-hour drive. It's another, 800-mile trip. So again, I was looking at this one, and I was sitting there. I was like, something's not adding up with this one either. Well, it's 13 hours because of 222 miles up there, and then 700 something over there, 800 something over there. But I was sitting there looking at it. I was like, something here isn't right. Again, this isn't adding up. So I called this receiver also and was like, hey, can I deliver early? And they were like, well, when do you think you're going to be here? And I was like, I'll be there tomorrow between 12 and 2 p.m. And she was like, I can't take you until 4. And I was like, that's perfectly fine. I'll just wake up a little later and I'll start my clock later so I'm not burning hours, and I'll be there at 4. And she was like, all right, sounds good. So now I'm going to deliver this one tomorrow at 4. I'm going to have to call the company tomorrow morning and be like, hey, I'm delivering early. Can you get me on a pre-plan so when I wake up on Friday, I can go pick something else up that I can deliver on Saturday, hopefully, to get another couple hundred miles under my belt. With this load, when this load gets delivered, I'll be sitting at 2,800 miles this week. I didn't drive 2,800 miles this week. Whatever you have delivered, whatever paperwork you have submitted for your deliveries by midnight on Saturday is what counts towards your pay. The load that I took home over the weekend obviously didn't get delivered by that time, so it counted for this week, and that was like 900 miles with the deadhead and the loaded miles. So that's how I got that. So right now I'm sitting at like 1,800 really. But if they give me that other one, about another 800 miles, that would put me at 2,600 for this week, but it'll count as 3,600 in total. So you can definitely get some fucking miles here if you run yourself correctly. Because they'll, like I just told you, sometimes they'll give you way too much time and you're not going to get mileage. Now, if you get hired on with a guaranteed pay, like you guys have seen with mine, it doesn't matter how many miles you run because you get that guaranteed pay. Me, I want to make money. I don't want to sit out here and just make the minimum, which I love the minimum. It's not a bad paycheck at all, but I love to make more than that. So that's what I'm going to do. Even with 2,800 miles, it's still $200 more than the minimum. So if I go to 3,600 miles, that's going to be quite a bit more. I think it was like $2,200 or $2,300 that I would make, and I'd walk home with about $1,800 of that roughly after taxes and medical and all that crap. So you can make the mileage with this account or with any of the accounts really, as long as you know how to run yourself and as long as you get in contact with dispatch when you see something wrong. Don't sit there and be like, yeah, they gave me 3 days, I'm going to take 3 days. Don't do that. You can do it if you want to. It's fucking stupid if you do it because it's just taking money out of your pocket really. I don't know. Now, with the tolls with some of these, that's another thing. If you're going to be burning your clock, like running nonstop, I don't think they'll really care that you're running tolls because you're getting more loads delivered, which is putting more money in the company's pocket and in your pocket. So it kind of evens it out. But it depends. Some of the tolls you got to be careful with. Like I've told you before, don't run the bridge going into New York. Don't run, there's a certain interstate across Pennsylvania, I can't remember what it is. Don't run that, it's expensive as shit. Don't run I-80 west of Toledo in Ohio, that's expensive. Going down to Oklahoma, there's a couple toll roads, and they're not cheap. There's one, it's like $20, and you're only going like 30 miles. Hell no, because then coming back up, you're paying like $6.50, and then another $8.50, and then something like 12 something after that. So you're just it adds up real quick for some of them toll roads. But if you're running 80 west of, or 80 east of Toledo, you're perfectly fine. There's a toll road you can run across New York, not that expensive at all, and it'll go all the way across New York. It'll save you a crap ton of time if you have to go from, you know, west of it all the way over to the east to like Connecticut or something. It'll save you a shit ton of time. But yeah, running, it's all on you. You know, I told you about the drop and hook thing. They say that, I think they said like 60% of it's drop and hook. It's really not. You can get drop and hook. If you're going to Newport, Tennessee, you know you're doing drop and hook. If you're going to, I can't remember the city, but there's a place down in South Carolina. It's right beside one of our yards. It's like 5 miles from our yard. If you're going there, you're 100% doing drop and hook there, unless you're a local driver. If you're a local driver, you might go over to the other facility right across the street and get live loaded. But if you're OTR, you're about I'd say 99.8% of the time you're doing drop and hook. There's that 0.2% chance you might have to get live loaded like the local guys. If you go to Morganfield, Kentucky, you're getting live unload, live load. I've only seen local guys do drop and hook there. If you're going to Memphis, live load. Shit show. Hate it every time I go there. You're always there for at least 2 hours at either one of the two facilities over there in Memphis. And there's another one in West Memphis, Arkansas, but I can't remember what happens there. So yeah, I mean, you'll kind of start memorizing some of the places, even though there are a lot of facilities. You will start to memorize some of these. If you guys have any more questions about the Sonoco account, like specific questions, go ahead and ask. Yeah, like I said, I'll try to figure things out. You can see Alina's messaged me, or questioned quite a few things in some of the comments, and I've answered all of them. I do have an email. It's shadowtrucker210@gmail.com that you guys can use. I just created it a few weeks ago. There's only like 2 people that had it right now because I created it so that they could message me. I'm not giving anybody my phone number. This is not a work phone. This is my personal phone. So I don't give that out because I don't want people blowing up my personal phone. It's mainly for family and then for the company to get a hold of me. That's about it. Nobody really has my number. But the email, you guys can go ahead and message me whenever. Whenever I have free time, I will get back to you. I don't think there's anybody I haven't gotten back to yet. Thank you for subscribing, those of you that have. I didn't expect any of that. And thank you for all the views too. I was not expecting these videos to get as many views as they did, but I definitely am glad they are. I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. It just helps you guys get some information if you're coming over here. And that was the whole point of this. It wasn't to get subscribers or any of that. So I appreciate that. I'm glad you guys are following and learning something about the company. If you have questions about it, feel free to ask. If you guys drive for the company, please make your own videos, or put some comments on these videos that other people can read so they can see what you've experienced and hear about it, and get more input, because I'm only one person. You guys might come over here and experience something completely different, have a terrible experience, or have a great experience. Just go ahead and pass your information along as well. Well, you guys go ahead and have a good one. That's about all for this video. Try to keep it a little shorter than the other ones. Take care.